Greetings, I'm 𝓑𝓫𝓾𝓽𝓪 here. I am collaborating with black metal artists. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure, Brice Leclercq. I used to be the bass player in Dissection for the Rebirth and REINKAOS, and then I played also in Satyricon live in 2009, and now I'm back on the scene with my own band called From Chaos.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. For my
It's a
first
pleasure
question,
to be with you.
your musical journey has spanned iconic bands like Dissection, Satyricon, and now From Chaos. How has
Yeah.
your personal philosophy evolved through these distinct eras of extreme metal?
Well, I think I ended up always in bands that I could express myself with, and especially with Dissection when it comes to the philosophy. We had a lot in common with what John was trying to express, and that's why I got in actually at the first place. We spoke a lot before I joined the band, and we spoke a lot about philosophy and the way we were seeing things in religious way, but not only in general. Of course, the religious thing was important, but the way we saw things and the way we were thinking about and seeing the world was very similar, and I have my own way of doing the thing, and that's why I was not a part of the MLO, but that's my way of doing it. And now with From Chaos, I have my own philosophy kind of, and people will have to check the lyrics a little bit and search a little bit. I don't like when it's too easy, and interpret what I'm trying to say sometimes in my lyrics. I'm gonna actually have some lyric videos at some point, pretty soon, I guess, and people can have their own opinion on what I try to express in it.
Thank you. That was very insightful.
Thank
Your
you.
contributions to foundational works like 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪 are legendary. How do you approach the balance between respecting the legacy of such albums and infusing your unique identity as a musician?
Well, 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪, when I look back at it, was already a vision that John had, very strong vision that John had from the prison days, and we embraced this vision, of course, because we got into it, and I tried to bring my own playing and my own style in the band, but respecting the way John wanted it to be, because he was his band, and I respected that. That's important, and now that's why I'm doing my own band, but I tried to bring a lot of blackness to 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪 when I recorded it. I remember that. Rebirth was a little different. We tried to come back very strong with old material. 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪 was another philosophy. It was bringing something new, and I tried to bring my own style with a very darkened, blackened bass playing. Yeah.
Thank you. As a bassist and multi-instrumentalist, how do you interpret the role of bass in extreme metal? Is it primarily structural, atmospheric, or something more profound to you?
Good question. It's everything. It's all of that a little bit. I think it depends. It depends on the music, it depends on the style. I'm gonna take clear examples. I'm not gonna talk about Dissection. Dissection, I tried to Thomas and I tried to play as good as possible so that John could do what he did best back then, and he was play and sing, and then my bass playing was solid, and I didn't play. I played for the track. I didn't play for showing off. That's an important part of being a bass player. It's not in that way. It's not an instrument that people will will see you in front of the stage. It's a little like a drummer, a little you're a little backward, you know. And I try to bring with From Chaos a little more than that. I try to add atmospheres with my bass playing. I try to bring melody with my bass playing, and at the same time have a very solid groove and ground to be able to build my guitars and singing on top of it, along with the drums, and I had the help of 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪𝓵. So it was great. That's also a big part of how you will play is with who you play. It depends with the drummer you are playing with. When I played with 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽, I didn't play the same way than when I played with Frost or with 𝓑𝓻𝓾. It all depends on the drummer for me as well as a bass player. I play differently according to the drummer and the music. So I would say all of that depending on when and what album and what music.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
You mentioned sharing the work of underrated bassists on your YouTube channel. Can you tell us about an artist who approach to bass playing deeply influenced your perspective?
Sure. There are a few, but I would say that my biggest influence is Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath, because he has everything. We just talked about it, but Geezer had the ability to bring melody, groove, energy, and he did it so well all the time. And I mean, he's one of the only bass players that can kind of play a solo during a guitar solo and not make it sound like it's too much. It's very he's a very I think he influenced many bass players on the metal community in general, not only in the extreme metal community, but in general. And that's not a surprise. I mean, he brought a lot of new things, a new way of playing, very hateful, I would say, but very you know, angry sometimes. Steve Harris is another one like that. Of course, Steve Harris was a big influence on me because of his way of playing with energy and at the same time melody. I tried to recreate that when I did From KAOS, and some of the tracks, I think you can hear the influence of Maiden. Geezer Butler a little less, because it's a little more subtle to hear it, but Steve Harris, Geezer Butler, Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead, all the big names, you know. But there are a few also bass players that are a little less popular but are as good. I'm thinking about Bob Daisley from the Ozzy Osbourne days, or Gary Moore or Rainbow, and Jimmy Bain from Rainbow Dio as well. Two very good bass players that influenced my playing a lot as well. Very solid picking players, both of them, which is not the case of Geezer or Steve Harris. That's why I'm also naming those two guys, because they're very killer pick. You know, I play with the pick as well. So Jimmy Bain especially is very good pick player, bass player. Yeah, awesome.
That's
His work was
a lot of influences for you.
For sure. Many influences. I think people, the more music you will hear, the better.
Oh yeah.
That's the way I feel. Yeah.
From live performances with Satyricon to studio recordings with Dissection, what have been the most transformative moments of your career, both creatively and personally?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. What have been the most transformative moments of your career?
Oh. Okay. I would say Rebirth of DISSECTION for sure, because this was a very special moment for many reasons. I didn't play that many live gigs before to do this gig, so it was a lot of pressure, a lot of stuff going on around this gig, and it was a before and after Rebirth, that's for sure. Even on a personal point of view. And then I would say REINKAOS was also very important, but in another way. I was aware when I was recording it that this album was something special, and I was aware that the bass I was recording was going to be listened through the coming years, so by many fans. So I was being very careful to what I was doing, but at the same time try to be very creative and try to leave something memorable, and that's the case. So I'm glad that it ended up that way, for sure.
Thank you. With From Chaos releasing new material in 2024, what themes or messages do you aim to convey through this project, and how does it differentiate itself from your past works?
Oh, I don't know if in 2024 I'll be able to have the time to do. I mean, I'm already thinking about the next album, and in my head it's already in the making. But I have a few ideas on recorded, but I'm not yet. I didn't turn the thing on yet.
So you're still
Yeah, but
okay.
I think hopefully I will be able to have a second album in 26. 25 will be tough, but who knows? It can go fast.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because it took me a year. It took me a year to do this album, so I wouldn't expect. And since I want to do better on the next one, I wouldn't expect before 26. Yeah. And then the biggest difference is that I choose everything and I decide everything, and I'm the one deciding on what sound, what to do, what's next, what choice,
Yeah, your vision.
That's the biggest difference, is that I do everything on my own, and I choose everything. So I choose with who I play, with who I do interviews, with who you know what I mean. I choose everything. So that's the biggest difference.
That's a big difference, though.
Indeed.
Yes. In the modern extreme metal scene, what do you believe has been lost or gained compared to the era when you began playing? How do you
Oh, good
navigate
question.
these changes?
Good question. A lot of things changed through the years between 90s, beginning of 2000 and now. The industry is very different. So you cannot, before, there were labels, and then you had albums on physical forms like vinyls and cassettes. Cassettes is a little old, but at least CDs. And this is almost not existing anymore. A few in the metal genre are still keeping the CD alive, and the vinyls are coming back, and cassettes as well. But the biggest difference is that, of course, the whole industry has evolved in a different way. I know that some people see it in a negative way, and some see it in a positive way. I don't know. I mean, I'm mixed feelings, in the sense that some things were better back then, yeah, but some things are better now. For example, I feel a lot more freedom now, that I can put out an album, write an album, and put it out without asking anybody, and asking or needing somebody to give me the permission to do the artwork, and I mean, to do my art, and nobody tells me what to do either, and the way I should do it. So this freedom is enjoyable for me, but at the same time, there is a lot less money, of course, and it's not that I play for money, because I would have played something else, but you always need money to buy equipment. You need money to pay stuff here and there, and that's a little tough nowadays, to be able to keep the thing running with the little money you get. I mean, merchandising is more or less the only income you get as a musician, That was not the case before, but it gives you also a lot more freedom. So, on the other hand, something I was talking with 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪 about not so long ago, is that I think that bands are a lot safer now. I mean, I remember back in the 90s, bands had one idea, and they tried to have their own style, if you remember, Marduk was not sounding at all like 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪 or Emperor or Mayhem or Dissection or Enslave. Everybody had their own style. Dark Throne has their own style. Everybody has their own style. And nowadays, because of the industry, I feel that bands are trying to fit in a genre, in something, instead of trying to do their own. They have the freedom to do it, but they're afraid because they're afraid of people criticizing it, and you know, I understand that, but at the same time, you need to, if you want the draw to evolve a little bit, and if you want it to keep it interesting, you need to have these individual bands trying to do their own thing. I think it's important. That's why I did an album with a raw sound, authentic sound, not like everybody else would do. I could have done it other way, but I didn't want to. I wanted to have some kind of statement for that as well.
Something different.
Yeah, I think it's important to find your own style, own sound, you know.
I agree with that.
And, yeah, and I think that's the way you will have people hearing you better, because if you sound like everybody else, you know, in 2024, it goes fast. People just switch to the next band, and if you sound different, people will kind of, oh, that's different, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we should go this way a little more. It would be interesting for the art in general, I think.
Oh yeah, I agree. In the modern extreme metal scene, oh wait, I already read that one, sorry. Many fans view you as a bridge between the past and present of Black and extreme metal. How do you feel about this role, and what responsibilities do you think can come with it?
Good question. I don't know if there is a responsibility besides trying to, just what I was saying, trying to bring more individuality in the genre, trying to bring more of what we used to have, in the sense that we used to have a lot more individual bands with their own style, and the big difference as well is that there were no safe bands. I mean, I found everybody very safe nowadays in extreme metal. There always been, you know, strong individuals with strong opinions fighting each other, and that's the way it was in the 90s. It's true, but at the same time, I find it a lot more healthy this way than just if everybody is agreeing on everything, you know. It's normal not to agree on everything. It's a part of life, in my opinion, and it's normal not to fight sometimes and not agree, especially when you have stubborn and people with strong opinions, and they're gonna fight some days, and that's not a big deal. I don't see why not agreeing on something is a problem. You should be able to have your own opinion. What I'm afraid of, and I hope that will not go this way, but the freedom of speech is a lot. The freedom of speech is it feels like it was a lot better in the 90s, beginning of 2000 than it is now. It's tougher now. You see bands being banned from festivals and stuff like that. I'm thinking about 𝓑𝓻𝓾𝓽𝓪𝓵, or even Marduk has stuff going on, and I think it's dangerous. We should, as a musician, between before and now, we should make sure that we talk about these things. The people in the business should talk about the fact that there are Antifa or the organization trying to turn down some bands and put down and shut down some bands. It's very dangerous. You shouldn't do that. I mean, in that sense, I think we should try to talk at least about it. The worst thing to do is not to talk about it. If everybody is aware of it, if everybody knows what's going on, the power will not be on their side. It will be on ours, and that's what I think.
That's true. And it makes a lot of sense as well.
Yeah.
Your one take unedited covers on YouTube highlight your technical precision and respect for music. How do you view the relationship between raw authenticity and polished production in extreme metal?
Well, I think that too polished material and music is. I don't have. I'm gonna put it another way. I don't have a strong opinion on this is good or this is bad. I have taste and I prefer certain things when it comes to my music. But at the same time, I think sound shouldn't not allow you as a musician to express yourself. And I'm gonna try to think about a concrete example. If your guitar sound is too compressed or too polished, you will not hear the nuances the guitar player is trying to bring. I mean, John was great at this. He had a great vibrato and he had a great touch. And if you put too much distortion or clarity to that, you won't hear it. And in that sense, I think it's not helping the music, because music is about emotions, energy, and feelings and stuff. And it's not about how good it sounds. So I'm not against good sound, but as long as it gives you the ability to express yourself as a musician. I put it the right way. Yeah.
I like that response. Thank you. Okay. For my final question, having played in some of the most influential bands in extreme metal, what advice would you offer to emerging musicians who want to leave their mark in such a competitive and emotionally demanding genre?
Good question. I would say being authentic is very important, and I don't see enough today. I think 2024 is not very representative when it comes to authenticity or integrity. You should have all these values very high in yourself when you do music. That's what I learned from Dissection, you know, and I kept that, and I try to keep that in my band now. But John and Dissection was not a band that was fake or made up. Nothing was fake in that. It was all real and a real deal. So I would recommend a new musician to bring their own music and be authentic and real and with integrity. And that's important, and not let themselves corrupted by the business or some people trying to, you know, music business is full of that kind of individuals trying to, you know, make them fit in a case, in a jar, or in a case or whatever, you know, it's not. John always told me, I mean, he always tried to do his own thing, and that's something I learned from him. Try to do your own thing. That's important. And be authentic and real.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you, the same.